our city council meeting for Monday, December 13, 2021. Again, we are pursuant of Government Code, Section 54953E. Members of the Daly City Council and staff will participate in this meeting via teleconference. Members of the public are encouraged to watch the meeting via live stream. City Council meeting at https://bit.ly/Daly City 13 live stream or on local channel 27. And public participation, there are two ways to submit public comment: by written comments by 4 o'clock today, or you could join to speak at the meeting via Zoom. Okay. At this time, I would like to go ahead and start off with the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. City Clerk, if you get a roll call once again.
Certainly. Mr. Buenaventura,
Present.
Ms. Di Giovanni,
Present.
Ms. Manalo,
Present.
Mr. Sylvester,
And Sylvester, present.
Dr. Rod.
Present. Thank you. We have no presentations. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of November 22nd, 2021?
Motion to approve?
I would like to
We
Okay.
have a okay.
I
We have a first
requested-
and a s-
Yeah, I would like to request an amendment to the minutes.
Oh, okay.
okay. Councilmember Sylvester, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank our city clerk. I know to try to put the minutes together in a way that is understandable, and not everything can be verbatim. I'd like to request a change in the area of the employee pay. It was indicated that $2,000 was recommended by the city, when in fact it was $3,000. And that Council Member Sylvester requests that it is raised to $5,000, and former Mayor Manalo requested $5,500. So if we can incorporate those changes, that would be great. Thank you.
Your changes are noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. Are there any other changes to the minutes from November 22nd, 2021? I think we already had a first and a second, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Approval of the agenda. I would like to have a motion for the consent agenda, or does anybody want to pull items from the consent agenda?
The Mayor, not hearing none at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I second it.
Okay, hearing none. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Next up on our agenda, communications update on, is that right? Sorry about that. Public hearings. Public hearing on community development and housing needs. Call on Linnell Suliguin.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. The city receives Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and home funds annually from HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. CDBG funds may be used for program administration and programs and services that primarily benefit lower income households. These program activities include housing, public services, capital improvements, and economic development. And home funds may be used for affordable housing such as tenant-based rental assistance or affordable housing development. We do not yet know how much we will be getting in FY 22-23. For reference, currently in FY 21-22, the city received $1,077,165 in CDBG funds and $389,735 in home funds. As a requirement to receiving these funds, the city prepares a 5-year consolidated plan that identifies housing and community development needs and goals for addressing those needs. The consolidated plan goals are briefly summarized in the staff report. For each year during the plan period, the city prepares an annual action plan that allocates how the CDBG and home funds for the program year will be spent. Tonight is the first step in beginning the process for the FY 22-23 annual action plan, which is the 5th and final year of the consolidated plan period. We have a 2-year CDBG funding cycle for years 1 through 4 of the consolidated plan period, but for the final year, which is FY 22-23, we will be issuing an RFP for CDBG funds that covers only that 1 year. Our community participation process for the action plan consists of 2 public hearings, the one tonight and another in April. Tonight's hearing is for the purpose of providing the public an opportunity to inform the council of housing and community development needs in our city. The public hearing in April is to receive comments on the draft FY 22-23 action plan, which would include a proposed allocation of the 22-23 funds. Notice of this hearing was published in the Examiner and was made available on the city's website, as well as emailed to various social service organizations. The notice also included mention of the $1,411,179 in home ARP funds. These funds are part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which allocated a one-time allocation of home dollars to assist individuals who are homeless, at risk of homelessness, and other vulnerable populations such as those fleeing domestic violence. Excuse me. These funds are intended to reduce homelessness and increase housing stability. They may be used to provide affordable housing, rentals assistance, supportive services, and non-congregate shelters. As such, you may also receive comments tonight related to home ARP funds. Staff will return to council early next year with a draft home ARP allocation plan, which will recommend how home ARP funds will be used, and a public hearing will be required. Staff requests that the council conduct a public hearing on community development and housing needs and authorize the solicitation of a request for proposals for the FY 22-23 CDBG funds. Staff has not received any public comments and is available to provide additional information. Thank you.
Linnell, I would like to now open the public hearing.
For those members of the public who wish to comment on item number 11, please click the raise hand feature to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. No raise hands, Mayor.
I'd like to open this up to my colleagues. If you have any questions, comments. Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to thank Linnell and looking forward to what more we can do or ideas from my colleagues. And I appreciate all the hard work. Linnell, we don't get to see you very often, but I know you're back there working very hard, and you and Betsy. So please also know that we appreciate you as well, both of you and everyone back there. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to close the hearing and motion to adopt the resolution by roll call. Oh, can I get a motion? Sorry about that.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second,
Can we get a roll call to adopt the resolution? Roll call
Mr.
vote.
Buenaventura,
Aye.
Ms. Di Giovanni,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
I just want to say thank you to the staff for always being on top of our CDBG grant in regards to this, and much appreciated. Thank you.
Mr. Sylvester,
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Dr. Rod.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Linnell and staff.
Thank you.
Public appearances and oral communications. Are there any public comments?
In accordance with the Brown Act laws governing regular meetings, the City Council is not authorized to speak to or take action on any other items in this meeting. Members of the public who wish to comment may click the raise hand feature to raise your hand to speak. For those joining by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. It is important to note that staff will announce the name of the last person whose hand was raised upon calling for public comment, and that person will be the last verbal comment. If additional speakers queue up after the last called speaker, the mayor may continue to allow public comment if time allows. Otherwise, public comment may be emailed to cityclerk@dalycity.org to be added to the record and shared with the City Council. When you hear your name called, staff will send you a request to unmute your microphone and you may begin speaking. Each person will receive a maximum of 2 minutes to speak and may only speak once. When your 2 minutes have been reached, we ask that you wrap up your comments. Speakers not in compliance will be muted.
Thank you, Leilani. I see one on the docket.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a member of the public calling in. Please press *6 to unmute.
Hi, so this is the public, and I've been waiting on hold for a while now, and obviously the meeting started a couple hours. Leilani Ramos has been giving special privilege to other individuals, other community leaders of 3.5 minutes, so I expect the same courtesy. I'm not going to ask for it. I just should receive it, and I'm not going to hear any interruptions. So couple things. City
Mayor,
Clerk,
are you approving his request for additional time?
We have
no. He
2
has
minutes
to.
and we can go ahead and just
No,
go to 2 minutes.
no. He has to. He has to, because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You did it. It's proof. I'm filing lawsuits. So, City Clerk, you still haven't gotten the minutes right. Leilani, you're playing favoritism over speakers. It's documented. It's all online. Obviously, nothing new in city. We have another racist as a mayor, so this is not good. And willing to meet with any public leaders, community leaders, I doubt it, but we'll see what happens. We also need to make sure that we're on time. 2 hours late for a meeting is not acceptable. We had individuals attempting to call in on the East Coast, and it's obviously 12 o'clock there. So just, a clusterfuck again of just nonsense. So still yet to be addressed, the murder of the murder of Mr. Allen. So that's going to be another issue that needs to be brought up. So with the new mayor in place, I'm not sure if he's willing to meet with any leaders such as Talika, and I have actually spoken about it, and she gave me directives. So I know what to do. I know what to do to work with the community to get things done. But you guys need to vacate. You guys need to leave. I mean, this is ridiculous. 2 hours late for a meeting is just too much. And the whole thing about Ramos just it's all there. You know, you need to do your homework. You need to get back to us as to when
Your
you did
2
it,
minutes
why
have
you did it.
expired. Thank you.
No,
for
no,
your
no.
comments.
I'm getting 3.
Mayor, that concludes public comment.
Great, thank you. Let's move on. So to appointments, board commission appointments. Are there any appointments by any of my colleagues? Okay, seeing none. Reports, council committee reports. Councilmember Di Giovanni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had my CCAG regional report, and on one of the one shoreline, which we know addresses the sea level rise, we voted upon the members at large, and also with the electeds that came to apply. The person that will be at large on one shoreline will be Marie Schwang from Hillsborough, who is also our chair of CCAG. It'll also be Diane Pappen. And then from the another committee member will be Debbie Ruddock from Half Moon Bay, which is renewing her one shoreline, because we know that it's here and we need people that can include that. So that was the biggest takeaway from that, and there'll be more at the next meeting, but thank you for your time. Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, thank you, Councilmember Di Giovanni, appreciate it. Are there any other council committee reports? Okay, seeing none. Are there city council reports? Okay, seeing none. Is there staff reports? And I'll hand the microphone back to Shauna.
Thank you, Mayor Das McWall. Just quickly, thank you for a tough year, good year, successful year, productive year, challenging year. Congratulations to you, and big thank you to Mayor Manalo, our outgoing mayor, for all of her hard work in 2021. She had us going, but we like a good challenge, and she was definitely a very busy mayor, very dedicated, and we thank her very much for her service during that time. And we look forward to working with you, Mayor Das McWall, in 2022, right around the corner. There's no second meeting in December, by the way, city council meeting.
Thank you so much, Shauna. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead. I gotta find my adjournment and memories real quick. But I see a hand up, Councilmember Jocelyn Manalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this will go into city council reports, if I may. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for their immense work, to all the staff members, city manager Maltby and her whole office, and just everyone across the board in working together to keep Daly City progressing. And so I couldn't stop without doing that at this regular council meeting to say thank you to each and everyone. So thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And thank you to my colleagues as well. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, Councilmember Manalo. Are there other city council reports, or before we move on? No? Afterwards. Okay. I know, let's go to the adjournment in memory. I know we have a few on board. We'll go ahead and start with Councilmember Glenn Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to adjourn in memory of Crescentia Cuidado Apelin, AKA Ching or Christy. She was 75 years old. She was born in Vegan City, Ilocos Sur, to Mr. Benjamin Abela and Mrs. Teresa Cuidado Apelin on November 24th, 1946. She is the third of 4 siblings, 2 sisters, and 1 brother. Ching spent her high school days at St. Paul's Catholic School and then attended the University of the East in Manila, Philippines, with a degree in home economics. She worked as a mail processor for the University of California. San Francisco for more than 15 years. She was involved in Legionarios de Trabajo, which is a Filipino organization, and I think the translation, Legion of Workers. That's a Filipino that I know. And she received the Mother of the Year Award in 2003 from this organization. Crescentia Apelin is survived by her children, Crystalline Apelin, Alconcel Cordero, Michael Apelin, and Astor Apelin, Jean Ann, and 5 grandchildren, Catalina, Ronan, Solana, Melania, and Alder. Chrissy was very creative and loved to sew and cook. She would sew her own 49ers memorabilia and was showcased in the newspaper back in the late 90s. She did seamstress work on the side and taught cooking classes for enjoyment. She was an excellent cook, boasting over 100 recipes. And believe me, I was definitely, she's a neighbor of mine, and we were definitely a customer and would always sample her cooking. And as everyone know, I don't miss meals. So sorry to see her leave us, but that's what I have at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. I'll hand it over to Councilmember Di Giovanni.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make mention, as we all know, the former U.S. Senator Bob Dole, a couple of things about him. First and foremost, he was able to reach across the aisles on both sides and is well known. He was a one of our World War II veterans, and that's very important that we remember him. He had a long battle with cancer and fought it with much pride. And his wife is still living at this time. The second one is Shirley Gibson. Some of you may know her, and we all know she was a champion for a lot of our local renters here, and she took to court. She also battled cancer for quite a long time and is a champion for those who didn't have a voice. And that's a very sad loss for our San Mateo County Legal Aid Society. And on the third one, the Sergeant Kevin Nishida, which is retired sergeant from town of Tacoma and worked in Hayward, San Jose, and Oakland housing. I would like to defer to, out of respect, to our retired PD, SFPD in Vallejo to close in his memory as well, because I think it's very important. So I would like to defer to Councilmember Sylvester through the mayor. Thank you very much. On Sergeant of the town of Tacoma. Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester.
Thank you, Councilmember Di Giovanni, and I appreciate this. Sergeant Kevin Nishida worked for San Jose, Hayward, and the town of Tacoma. I remember when we had the Daly City Tacoma Chamber of Commerce breakfast, to which the chiefs of both cities are representative and stand in to give basically a state of address as to what's going on. Sergeant Kevin Nishida was chosen one year, and there's a picture online with him and Acting Chief Gamez at the breakfast. It didn't stop there. With the current events, we depend on our news media to cover the events. And lately, even the news media, who are just doing their jobs, providing the news, they are subject to violence out in the streets. In one particular case in a Bay Area city, Sergeant Kevin Nishida was with a KRN news crew to which they were subject to an incident. And during that incident, Sergeant Kevin Nishida sustained injury by a gunshot wound. And he was taken to the hospital and he later succumbed to his injuries. So just recently they had the funeral proceedings, I think it was just yesterday in San Jose. And I would like to adjourn. Thank you, Councilmember Giovanni, for deferring to me. Law enforcement, a noble profession. And again, as I made mention earlier, tomorrow is promised to no one, but we'd like to thank him for his service. And I would like to adjourn in his memory. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Sylvester. I'd like to also close in memory for my former student. His name is Solomon Paul Ferrer Anselmo.
Oh, that's right.
Born on February 27, 1999, he transitioned on November 28, 2021. Solomon was one of my students at Skyline College as part of the Kababayan learning community. He was one of those students that you'll always remember. It was his style, his thoughtfulness, but most importantly, his creativity. He had a love for fashion, for hair. He expressed in one of my classes, I'm a barber because I like making people feel good about themselves. You couldn't miss him when he entered the classroom. He would gender bender through his swag, had different colored hair on a weekly basis, and it was his way of expressing his identity. I appreciate all the laughs, stories, lessons, and memories we had in our classroom. We lost a very young man in our Daly City community. Solomon, people would say he was like an unofficial therapist, a friend, a brother, and son. At the age of 22, Solomon lost his battle against depression. And although he's in a better place, he has left behind a legacy that will not be forgotten. His many creative talents and caring energy has left so many saddened to hear about his passing. However, he will not be forgotten for all of his smiles, conversations, and relationships he built. And this was a hard one, especially when they're young and so creative and so smart. And I hope that by working with my fellow colleagues in the county through this mental health mayor's initiative, we can provide more attention, more education, more resources to mental health treatment. So in this time, I want to provide a moment of silence for those that we are adjourning in memory for. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bye, everybody. Everybody, Merry Christmas and
Happy holidays.
happy holidays.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye,
Mayor.
Give me.
Bye.